Okay, so I'm looking at this broker. Now this is what Samurai Trader was using, is JAFX. So since I'm going to have to go into the Bitcoin domain, I'm going to try these guys out. So that was, and so they're saying here, April 4th, some guy responded because some guy was saying, "Oh, I couldn't get, my do transactions for 4 days," but I've seen this before with people that are on vacation or they're online. When you're dealing, and I've been dealing for 10 years in a chat window, which is very disturbing to have to type when I just want to yell at somebody. And so I can handle the dysfunction of a broker. And this was no different. I mean, the only difference was 9 years ago, you could call a broker in Texas and talk to him about the account. So that's missing. That's a big world. I'm still surprised when I call like FedEx or something and they say, please say, or, I mean, I'm going to throw up every time I hear somebody say, please say or speak what you're calling about. Like, you know what? And the robot can't respond fast enough. And it's just so sick. And then what happens to people that can't speak? The deaf mutes are fucked. Or the mutes are fucked. You can't even press 1 or 2 anymore. It's say this, do this. Yeah, because the government's trying to get a hold of your voice sample. I'm sure that's coming. Voice fingerprints. Oh, we don't like your attitude on that last call. So have fun while you can, people. Live it up. So, because although there's this really cute girl from an old commercial that I wanted to find out her name. So there's a thing where you can drag an image into Google and it'll go out and look on the interweb for this and tell you who that is. And it said it was a guy. And I'm like, just because the chick's got short hair, it's a guy? Thanks for that, Google. So here we are. And I love it when a company responds to accusations on this forex peace army. So I spent a lot of time here, and there's the guy Clint over at Baby Pips, and there's 20 brokers that you can go to that. Okay, I would say, yeah, right. You can't call them on the weekends, but you can't call your broker in the States on the weekends either. So relax, okay? So somebody sent me a comment here in the some guy in Russia sent me this. Here's a new indicator, new functionality. So yeah, this stuff is too much fun. It's like a big toolbox, sandbox, pile of clay you can mold into whatever you want. And it's too much fun right now. So the Bitcoin, I do think, is fragile here, and it could just tank. I mean, I hate to say what I say you should never do is predict the market, but it's an interesting situation here because, like, the guys in my band are talking about Bitcoin. Now, this is rare. They're actually talking about currencies, which is bizarre. Like, I guess they say trading's a lonely thing, and then when the public is into what you have been looking at, and don't forget, the Bitcoin phenomena is only a year old. I mean, I don't know if anybody can really even take in the breath of a move like that and claim that it's going to go to 10,000. Why doesn't it go back to a rational level? Like gold came and did a 50% retracement, right? Came to like 1,000 or something. We bounced off 1,100. Sure, we didn't know when that was going to happen, and that's another problem with trading. We don't know when any of this shit's... Well, we know that price is always going to be a good price. So the big problem with trading, once again, is the fact that prices appear unscheduled. From a projection extension standpoint of pure price, yes, you could say, look at, dude, hit my price. But that's no different than you going to the casino and playing roulette and saying, yeah, at some point this 0, double 0, whatever, the green, I think there's a 0 and double 0 is green. In other words, that's the pivot, that's the doji on the roulette wheel, right? That is your fulcrum of the scales of balance. So you're either going to play this game from a, sadly, a mechanical standpoint, which is very like mechanical sex. Like if you hired a hooker bot that only ran 2 modes, fast and slow, but for you, you're like, she's too fast, she's too slow. I need a fader knob so I can bring it in and get the right amount of gain and the right depth of market. Okay, this is when people are like, let's look at that depth of market stuff. Yeah, if I could just find out where the sweet spot is and get in there. Okay. It's like trying to, you know, the bull riding thing, it's like 8 seconds on a bull. 8 seconds on a bull. Like, I mean, really, dude, who decided 8 seconds? Some guy with Fibonacci, right? There's your Fibonacci. So, is there a 12-second? Is somebody going to say there's a 21-second bull ride? Let's do that over here. I think the Bull Riding Association may say, And of course, this whole idea of what is the price target? It's like saying, I'm going to go to Europe. How much luggage am I going to pack? Well, the more luggage I pack, the higher commissions on my luggage, and the more I pay in total risk, too. Because when I get to Europe with all my gadgets and all my relics, will they be worth more there? So you're a carpetbagger. In a sense, if you're trading, the beauty of forex is the leverage, because you're basically flipping a house in 3 hours if you're in a standard lot. Let's just imagine you could get a house for 100 grand most places on the planet. Certain neighborhoods, okay, San Francisco, it's a problem. But let's face it, if you got $1 million, just make it $1 million position. You're essentially saying, would I hold a house for 3 days, risking oh gosh, what is the, in other words, where your stop placement's at? And forget this SEAL Team 6 guy. You're still going to have to do the math. If you're going to swing trade like he is, position trading, and claim you're right. So this is another thing. For the people that have targets that are 5 months away, that the British pound's going to go to whatever number that is, and that target's 3 months away on your chart, and you could just drag your data so that, to be honest and transparent, that it would be right down the middle of the chart. So you're driving down the middle of the road, and you can either turn left and blow up the account, or you can turn right, or you can have pendings to the right of you that may never fill, but you never lose any money in that account. So you can claim that you have zero. I mean, the funny thing about trading is, if you really wanted to be that way about it, you could just claim, oh, 0 losses this month. Yeah, we never put a trade on because we're waiting for some Gartley shit. Nothing wrong with waiting for a Gartley. That's not why you're making money from a Gartley. You're making money from a Gartley because you're under trading the fuck out of it. If you're waiting for a Gartley on a monthly, you're trading once a year. So this guy, the SEAL Team 6 guy, is saying, this giant position trader guy, fundamentalist, okay? This is the two worlds. On one extreme, you have a fundamentalist that says, well, fundamentally speaking, the government's done printing money. If they're going to raise interest rates, it's already priced in the market. What you're seeing is a fake move. What you're seeing is the tail end of everybody liquidating. What you're seeing is a blow off top. What you're seeing is capitulation. What you're seeing is, okay, that's all wonderful, and I've read that in a million books. Great, but how do we, like, okay, how do you know it's the end of the trend? If trend trading works, you better know when the fucking trend's over, right? If it works, then it doesn't. Because there's not a continuous trend. There's a fucking doji. There's a triangle. There's a hesitation. There's a I don't know. So if the pivot is I don't know, is it okay not to know? Well, no fucking way is it okay not to know, because you read fucking a million books and you took a million classes and you got a million indicators. It's okay. It's not okay not to know, because you've said, look how much I know now. I have an indicator. I know more than you. This is that fucking pissing match about my platform's better. Dude, it's a fucking number. If you ask some goober on the street to write, and this is told to me years ago, keep your own charts. Get a graph paper and put 10 pip handles, and when the thing moves up 10 pips, put a dot on that fucking thing. And then all of a sudden what you'll do is what Andrew Cardwell did, which was, I figured out how he's making money is that he was writing the charts by hand, because he was into the market. He didn't even have to look at the chart. He'd already loaded it in. But you live in a touch screen. Well, closest you can get now is a touch screen. So actually the tablet's the better way to go if you're going to trade tactilely, because, you know, clicking hockey keyboard, I guess, is the other answer for a strict. Now, this is the hockey keyboard is something you could program and hand to somebody and put dots, colored dots on there. So you can prep the board to be gooberlicious, let's say. Goober friendly. So there's so many approaches right now. If you want to, if you think that you figured out that you want to put a hedge on in a doji, which is obvious, don't need to back test this shit. The market ain't going to trade sideways forever. There's no need to backtest that fucking concept. I mean, if you're backtesting that, you need to fucking get help. You seriously haven't thought about this. Now, with a half a brain, you could pick the logical breakout direction. If it goes to a doji, you're either in wave 2 or wave 4 in Elliott speak. If you don't know what Elliott wave is, just look up Elliott wave, wave 2, wave 4. The alternate pullback, the backbeat, you're going to get in, okay, the downbeat, the major chord, the chorus is always going to be wave 1 and wave 3. 0 is, people are like, oh, is this 0? Is this 0? Okay, whole time I've ever traded my whole life, are we at 0? Are we at 0 for the bears, or are we 0 for the boobs? When does the boobs and the bears and the bulls, are we at the end? Is it time? Are we turning? Right? Is this it? Is there more? It's just going to keep going. Is it okay if it keeps going? Well, not if you've got an indicator. Because why would you put an indicator on the screen unless you thought, why would you put a fucking tachometer on your motor? Because the motor runs so quiet that you need a fucking gauge. Now, if you're driving a fucking Harley, do you need a tachometer? No, when it gets to a certain crackle point, you know that, okay, no, or if you can hear the, or you just set a governor in there. Like, you just set it to goober mode. Like, dude, no wonder, but every button on this keyboard, well, you have to trust the person you hand the keyboard to. And if it's yourself, you'd have to trust yourself, which may not be available. But this is why they say you would want to be a disciplined trader. You'd have to put a lock on your fridge. If you're a fucking pig and you've eaten all day long and you're eating for entertainment purposes, you may be trading for entertainment purposes. You may have enough money in your life that, like this guy that was on my stream named Laugh Crime, he wanted to risk 500, some bizarre number, which is 500. Now there's a card people. These are poker players. So for him, he's like, I'll risk $530. Yeah, okay, that's great. I guess that's not my cup of tea, because I'd rather risk $100 5 times, because some people are going to get stopped out. some people, $50 a day, they're like, okay, you know what? We fucked up today. It would be fun to have a crew of people, but this is another problem. Everybody has a everybody has a day job, or whether it's a formal day job or you're trying to raise a 8.5-year-old kid, or you're trying to work on your cottage this summer. Whatever you're doing, do you really want to be a slave to chaotic price behavior? Do you want to keep trying to what is the hunger to be right about the direction of the market? Not only the direction, but the target. The price target in that direction. You're asking for two things to happen. I mean, you're asking a lot. Is it better to have a tactic for conditions? So it's always hard to make a metaphor, analogy for the market into the real world, because I guess the only analogy I can think of is the weather. Could you affect the weather? Could you do enough? Could you crank up enough gear to create a rumble in the fabric of the weather? Probably not. Could you put on a big enough trade on your little retail account to nudge the euro? Probably not. So I'd say the weather is probably the ultimate metaphor for the market. And it explains a vortex of price. It explains the aftermath hangover from a hurricane. I'm sure that if you track the incoming, outgoing, every 1 hour sample of the a hurricane envelope opening and closing, it would look just like the market running into news and then out. And all these price pulses are just impulse, filling of vacuums. Some guy was asking about the vacuum fill. Just think about if you were to walk down a road. Well, I guess think about in the weather scheme, it's calm. How long do you think it's going to be calm? Is there a storm coming in from the east or west? Now that would be a directional trade. Is there going to be, and there typically is in the morning here, so since I'm upstairs with my windows open, and when 6:30 in the morning Eastern Standard Time comes, there's an inversion where the wind comes out of the east and everything rolls over. This is like the rollover. And then which way, typically for here, you're always going to be out of the west during the day. But if you get an eastern wind, okay, this would be the counter. Now, for all the money spent on weather analysis and trying to capture the next, what's going to happen next week and when's this going to happen, and I've heard predictions for insane weather in 4 hours here. Oh, guess what? Nothing. Like, I've watched radar real time, and I'm watching a storm go right over my house. Like, this fucker is not. I mean, it's just bright colors. I'm like, wow. Now, I don't know if they're taking radar samples of what's at what elevation, but there's not shit happening to me. There's a lag time there, right? And so you're going to trade the weather. And you can trade weather futures in Chicago. That's been going on for years. People are taking positions for insurance against, it's severely dialed in. You know, it's every little nook and cranny, and they're trying to, in other words, stability is the safe world, chaos is the dangerous world. So trading's dangerous because it's the market, the price over time factor is, it could shear down to your target in 40 milliseconds or 40 days. Okay, so there's two probabilities. And of course, the rate of the fill of the vacuum is unknown. What we do know is that the bigger the vacuum, the faster it fills in pulses. You can see any market start to just come back into monthly, yearly, and then uncharted waters. Okay, so gold went uncharted. This is the recent history of the market. I mean, take it or leave it. Bitcoin phenomenally went up hard, and now we are just stuck at support, a double bottom. So I'm in this JFX account, and here's the Bitcoin. And from a candlestick hedge situation on the weekly, I'd put a hedge on right now. One ticket for that. Then I would go to the daily and I would say, okay, let's go long one on the daily. But you have to really, if you're going to trade this for a living, you'd have to have 100 trades in here, all different levels. Okay, here's the half hour. Now, this is a completely different world than the half hour. This is day trader territory. You got your buy limit sitting down here. And every market's the same, notice. The euro dollar does the same thing. Every market does the same thing. Come up here, make new highs. After the end of that candle, you got a small body. You could have scalped that. Sure, you could still be short, but that would presuppose you, in other words, some guy made this much money in a half hour, and it took him another, like if he cashed out half and held this, and his other target happened to be this vacuum hole, right at the wick, and he's out. So he sold here, he held, he maybe added here on these two dojis. All right, so he added on the two dojis. We know the market can't go sideways. I don't think anybody wants to accept that the market is this easy to trade. Well, what am I going to do with my indicator that I studied? Now you fucked up my whole world. It's like I bought a bunch of foot switches to play guitar and all these cool sounds. Turns out I don't know how to play guitar unless I have. In other words, how much am I leaning on my effects to play guitar? And am I going to say, well, see, the indicator, dude, unless you're doing RSI and lows, you're never going to see that. RSI is on close. Why doesn't RSI work? I've been using RSI. Yeah, because, dude, it's on closing price, so it just sees that body. It doesn't see the wick. Now, RSI on lows, yes, that's how you would trade it if you're getting in on new lows. So you'd have to set your indicator for your trade plan. These things have to fucking be connected, or why would you put an indicator up unless you're expecting to trade it? So you'd have to trade that fucking... If you're selling new highs, you would see an overbought in RSI here bigger than any overbought anywhere on close, right? It only closed up there. And, well, how would you trade it if... Yeah, you'd have to sit and babysit and watch them nudge the highs up on the RSI. Whereas RSI, at the close of the 1 hour, you make a decision, an assessment. But you've missed the best fucking entry. We all realize that, right? After we get in, we're like, God, man, I should have bought more. If you're up on the trade, you should have bought more. If you're down on the trade, you should have bought less. And you have pendings waiting to fill up your buttercup trade, your turtle soup, or whatever we want to call it. Now, to be realistic about it, nobody talks about... There was a guy going on this rant about nobody will show you this. Well, nobody will talk about money, position sizing, and how much work it takes to protect yourself from risk. And once you do all that work and you see all you've done is laid out a domino theory of fill, where you're like, yeah, I see that new low. That's my indicator right there. I see new low, I place orders here. And if I wanted to buy Bitcoin on fresh lows, I don't even know when the... See, now I'm disorientated. I got to switch the... Now that I'm using default, I'm showing the default. And now I'm going to do my... I want to see the ask. I want to see how fucked I'm getting. This is always turned off. Your broker has that turned off to fuck you. So yeah, the broker's trying to fuck you, right? They don't want they don't want to show you the ask. So it's as if, wow, I can trade that price. No, you can't. So a lot of people, when they download MetaTrader, unless they have a template that they've created, yeah, okay, I admit it, your broker's doesn't want you to see what it's going to cost. No place tells you that. All prices are before taxes, before commission. So it's no different here. Bitcoin's trading on the weekends is just a lot of fun. So I did some Bitcoin streams and stuff, but no, honestly, with the people that just want to be dicks, it's not worth it. So chart shift, always have that on. And chart on foreground, I guess, right? I don't know. That depends whether you want your stuff on top of the grid or under it. But we're going to go gridless. And then I kind of want to go to black and white candles because I have chromatic shift issues with this green and brown shit. So we're going to change the colors. And I'm going to go down black. And I guess up is going to be none. For a purist candle, and up bar will be black. And the background will be white. Whitish. Uh-oh, fucked that up. Yeah, it has to be up white, I think. It's hollow, right? Now, this is actually my favorite kind of candlestick. And I actually would bring the color down in the background. It's just too much. So if I was going to build one of these from scratch, I don't know. I guess gray, because I'm always depressed. Okay, so this is your classic. Of course, the problem here is we can't see the wicks. And that's the only gripe I have with MetaTrader. The wicks are too skinny. So that's when I brought that template in. Oh, shit. Plus, I don't have my delete all objects here. Anyways, you're going to have to struggle to see the wicks here. We'll just go to bars. So bars is Western style, and it's definitely about the price range. And I think that's the thing. Now, time frame. I think if you were to try to explain this to somebody, you really have to talk about the time frame. That's the Bitcoin again. And when you look at the monthly here, you have to ask yourself this one question. Are you fucking kidding me? I have the trusty fib tool here too. Let's change the color of that. Anyways, it's too much fun trading. Colors. Let's go black. There you go. Now, look at the expansion here and the extensions going all the way to... So if you want to talk about measuring this in terms of fib, let's go to a Tony Plummer level. Right there. We'll just put it on the top of the wick for argument's sake. Because what we're saying here is that on the 5-minute chart, we know we're hitting 618 or 4. 618. Okay. Right there at 20,000. Fantastic move, people. Brilliant. Look at this thing coming out of the gate. I don't think I put my 0 in the right place, though. Yeah, I fucked up 0, so let me take this fib down to... Now, I'm just using it for proportion. I'm not saying that... okay, we're right at $500, which is my target. So we're going to backwards extend it. I call this extension inversion. Now, notice we came to the 618. Now, everybody will say, see, it works. Like, I mean, this is what you would hear. Dude, it really does work. Look at 618. In my 22 level, My zero level's at 0. I don't even see 0. But this will be funny because this is critical. We have a triple bottom in Bitcoin. And look at the dollar, and they're raising interest rates. So are we going back to the banks, people? I mean, I hate to sound like that SEAL Team 6 guy, but are we going to go back to fundamentals? So comment below, as they say. Yeah, for the fundamentalists, I've got a question list. I mean, for the technicians, we all know what we're going to do. I mean, for the mechanical, so they would say that's a technical move. Well, it's a mechanical move. It's just it's the fact that we can't, and look at this narrow range here. So I'm really fascinated by Bitcoin because it's still in its infancy of tragedy. If we keep melting down, everybody that traded the breakout scheme, so all these systems coexist. There's a guy that put on a goober trade here. I guarantee you there is somebody out there that put this trade on. Let's get a better looking color. I don't know. Something different. So look at that breakout on Bitcoin as it melts down. Let me get some more screen depth here. So another trick is to fix the scale here, which I found this after about 2 weeks of dicking around. And of course, it crashes on this platform. In fact, you can't fix the scale on Bitcoin because it broke the scale. You have to go like this. Look at it from this standpoint here. I don't know if you can see that on your screen because, like I said, the wicks are too skinny. But look at this, my fib. Zero's off the chart. Maybe that's what's fucking it up, is fib. But look at this window on the weekly. Breakdown, meltdown, keeps tanking. And if you hold down the control key, you can copy this. So here's the next vacuum. What's going to happen if we dip into this well? We've got clear sailing until here. So what is the void to fill? And also, I would make this a big black thing because then you can see the hole. Make this as big and as black as you can get. So we can see that price. I could see 2,800 on Bitcoin. The top becomes a bottom on Wix at this point. We pull back to the starting gate. All aboard the train. Who's getting in on this train? Well, the mechanical guys and the non-directional traders are long by default here. Like non-directional traders are long. They add here, this is turtle trading. This is how turtle traders made all this money. They added here. Add. Don't look back. Your fractal trading breakout. You're not waiting for a Williams fractal because it's too far away. No, the reason why Williams fractals, you'd have to fade a Williams fractal. If you insert his indicator and go for the fractals, and I'm going to go, I guess, black, and then we're going to have to make them huge again. Once again, all these things aren't big enough for me, so this is another big hassle. Like every time you add an indicator, it's a big fucking pain in the ass. What's the color? What's the size? Like, you shouldn't need that. Like, it's too late by then. In fact, see, you're fading this fractal. You're not putting a sell limit here at the breakout of that. You're going to let me copy this. Right, here's where the top becomes a bottom, and we retest that, and it's too late after the fractal. Here's your hammer. So, small body, that's the weekly Bitcoin. Do you really think, and I mean, I know people are hoping and praying this is true, that at the price we're at now, it's 6,500. Now, don't forget, there's people long. It's a heartbreaker. Always is. Somebody is long from the breakout of this candle. And they're like, dude, I'm in at 8 grand, we're at 64. Well, where do you think this thing could go? I think it's like all the way back to... Oh boy. And look at how Williams is calling out the fractals down here. How about that? How about the fractal in frequency now? And look at a fill here long on Williams, a long fill on Williams, and these are your trailing stops. A failed stop hunt here, but look how we came all the way back to here. So there are people, some people, that actually got in here and made... Somebody did that trade. Or you're looking in hindsight, cherry picking. There's nothing wrong with cherry picking a chart. You just have to realize that, were you the guy that put on the non-directional trades here, and here's the weekly, and on the monthly, that is literally this block, this order block, whatever you want to call it. And this is the only pullback. That is the only bearish candle on the chart. Now, this is really heartbreaking. This hammer is the hammer of all fucking hammers. And don't forget. And just never forget. I don't know if anybody cares, but this goes back. This is 4 years of consolidation of nothing, and then boom. And what is the first freak out point? This big bullish candle at 1,000. Think about it, $1,000 Bitcoin. Those guys are still up 5,400. Imagine there's no spread. Look at this thing. This is incredible. This market is literally dead in the water for how long? One more attempt to fix the scale. Can't do it. But look at this thing, man, before this rips. Now look at the weekly. Look at this doji. See how small the body is? Early people. This is the early entry people. This is wave 1, 2, 3. 3 is the biggest wave according to Elliott wave, but then we have extension. If this is wave 3 and this is wave 4, then yes, you're going long Bitcoin here by default on the breakout of the daily coming into... Oh, jeez. We fucked this chart up so bad, dude. Okay, so you're going to go long here on the breakout of this. This is just complete dumb goober trading here. Here you got trapped, see? Oh, well, your system doesn't work too good. Well, okay, you need more than one ticket because you need to experience this move. You have to have extensions built into your scripts. So you don't need Fibonacci extensions. You need target extensions on other accounts. You need swing accounts. You need scalp accounts. You need scalp brokers. You need different brokers. You need to be able to use one broker to pay your electric bill. One broker is paying for your hookers, right? Your scalp account pays for your, you know, whatever. You have to have a reason you're trading, right? If you're just stacking up dollars, then you are building the account. But at some point, you have to take the money out because you're going to need it to, maybe you do want to buy, it doesn't have to be gold, but a tangible asset. Or maybe you want to see if you can have a Bitcoin wallet that doesn't get stolen. And maybe you have more than one Bitcoin wallet. I'm thinking already I have to have more than one Bitcoin wallet because, and now it becomes wallet management, and now I have to hire somebody to manage that. Or pay a fee. I would pay 10% to a drag and drop point click. So there's two lifestyles. Either you're going to build your own car, or you're going to get a job that pays X and you're going to buy a car. Or you're going to do trades, which is inconsistent income. It's a market like real estate. So that Akil Stokes guy, he was going into real estate. Well, yeah, you can dip yourself in all these wells, but are you scalping a house, or are you going to sit on a house for a year, decorate it in a motif that's irresistible, and wait for the right buyer and make a killing? Or are you trying to flip a house? Are you scalping a house? Are you going to throw in new outlets, new doorknobs, dress it up in a cliche, socially acceptable, mainstream color scheme of current bullshit and flip it? Or are you going to, which would be a scalp, short-term swing trade, 3 days, market goes your favor. Okay, that's plenty of money. Look at this daily Bitcoin. Look at this sheer down. Look at 1, 2, 3. There's 4 signals. You're building a hedge here. Now, I know this is really difficult to think about because who has patience for this? And like I said in the beginning, if you move this to the middle, then you can think about the future. So think about the future of Bitcoin. I really do think that we could revisit the body of this. Would not be inconceivable to come back to this price. So you could have 1 million targets. Be like, oh yeah, under $5,000. What are the people going to say? I can't wait. So this summer's coming, and don't forget, the end of the year is coming, and don't forget, they've changed the tax structures here. And if people think Dodd-Frank's going away, dude, I heard a guy on the radio say they're just going to touch it slightly. Oh, we edited Frank Dodd. No, fuck, dude, they're never going to. They'll never unwrap that bitch. And even these unregulated brokers are like, there's one in Hong Kong, and I said, can I have an account? No. Nobody from your country can trade here. They're unregulated, and they won't let us in. But I don't have any problem with Bitcoin now. I guess I'm having to accept the new reality. It's just that when I heard that, I don't know. It's just so much work. Prove you're not a robot. If I see another click this to say I'm not a robot, I'm like, can I just have a all-day pass to the internet? And then the pop-ups. Somebody told me I can get a pop-up blocker app because I just want to pay my bills now. Oh, would you like to see? No, I don't want to see anything. I'm here to pay my bill. So now you're going to advertise to me because I'm online. Just give me a rickshaw. And so, yeah, $1,000 on Bitcoin. What are people going to say? There's that Bitcoin guy out there. But look at all these trades, man. I just don't have the time for it. I don't even want to watch this. This is like saying, how would you like to tune in and watch a soap opera and guess on where the plot's going? I don't have time for that shit. But yeah, I can understand. And there's the 4-hour people. Not to mention this. Look at Doji collapse. And look at the 4-hour story. Really? Now here's where you could almost say Williams Fractals, we got into the breakout and we got out here. There's enough fractals showing up on the 4 hour, I'll give you that. But what's fascinating the hell out of me right now is this monthly SEAL team shit. Now look at the 4 hour with fractals. This is amazing graphics. Just right here. And look at your entry window, just to give you a clue how hard it is to trade Williams breakouts on fractals on the 4 hour. Imagine a robot taking breakouts on the wicks here. How do you think he's... You don't have, if you have to backtest that, you got a problem. The scheme is if you reversed on that triangle, you'd go, oh, I'm making so much money on this robot. What does it do with counter trend trades? Unfair value entries. Look at that scheme. Trades like butter. You mean to tell me you're getting in at that? Oh yeah, I'm getting right here. I'm swing trading the 4 hour chart. Buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. Holy shit, dude, you're making so much money on that. You know, my moving average system only took this entry here. Came right into the 21 EMA, linear weighted, right here. Even my 13 said sell my Elder Ray. Yeah, right there. And look at, I got a structure. Bottom became a top. Right there I got in. Oh yeah, really? Well, dude, I've been swing trading the 4 hour chart like a mad pig. Buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. Oh yeah, why? You're an idiot. You don't know where the market's going. Yeah, so this girl, I was at her house, and she said she was helping this lady clean her house and stuff, and I guess she must have vacuumed or something, and maybe she didn't leave like perfect marks in the vacuum, like in the. Some people are just, you know, they're mentally ill. Carpet's got to be swept, like they're cutting a lawn, putting green. I get this thing right. Okay, but you know, she cleaned the floor. It's vacuumed. It's just not left in this pristine. But I can see if you're not in the middle of if you're not in a concentration camp where you're just worried about staying alive, then you're good, right? I was watching fell asleep watching the Nature Channel, and they said lions sleep 20 hours a day, and I thought, and the explanation is that they can sleep whenever they want and wherever they want because of the king of the jungle. So the lions, you know, that's kind of like a trader. If you... How often do you need, if you're swing trading on the 4 hour chart, you can see here that, okay, another trade, oh, another, looks like we're in extreme, get in a swing trade, and hit a button. Your target's 8, like, you could sleep for 20 hours, come back. So actually, the lion's under trading, right? He could be getting all sorts of food, but he's crashed. Now the other animals cannot sleep. They have to sleep with some guy. The zebras have, they supposedly, this is what they said on Nature Channel. The zebras are sleeping out in the open without a stop. Well, they just have one guy monitoring the account. There's one zebra that stays awake all night while the other guys sleep. And they sleep in the middle of the open. They figure, well, this way they won't be ambushed. They can see shit coming from a long ways away. And so that's the game, right? Now you got the stop hunters. So they're going to, the zebras, and here comes the lions. You know, these are whatever you want to call it. These are the institutions. They only come in, they punch the clock, they come in, they look at the market. Okay, let's put some orders and go home. And is there any interest in those high and low prices? Yeah, and typically that's when everybody is emotionally, of course, swept into the enthusiasm of the direction the market happens to be going in their favor at the moment. And you can see that when people talk about the market, they're like, well, we're up on this trade, and here's my target, we're getting hit. But inside of the world of other people that are on the 3-minute chart and the 8-minute chart and the 19-minute chart and the 48-minute chart and the volume chart and the level 5 guys, and if all these people are participating in sync, and of course the institutions are always right, and of course the institutions will all be trading the same algorithm because they found the holy grail. It's just a joke, right? This is just a bunch of shit going on. And on the weekend, except for Bitcoin, which is interesting gauge, also when the wheels come off, which I'm not like a end of the world person, but not to mention the stock market is either in distribution or reaccumulation now. So we broke the logjam of consistently churning in one direction. Volatility's come back to the markets, extreme volatility. Bitcoin could be probing $2,500 on Christmas. You could have money coming back into the... I mean, let's face it, the fundamentalists, okay, they're raising interest rates. Doesn't mean the dollar is going to be strong, but it doesn't mean that... So the last video I did, I think I was on this rant about digital money and wallets. Okay, I understand all about... But there was a time, and last year I had a Payza account, and I was able to buy Bitcoins through there. Well, that's shut down. So that's shut down, and stuff gets shut down every year. Stuff gets moved. You know, I mean, the whole idea of Bitcoin is it's still digital currency. So for all the people that think they're escaping, the guy was talking fiat currency, all these taglines, well, the American dollar is fiat currency. Yeah, but it's liquid. Okay, there's a lot to be said of liquidity. Bitcoin, can I hit a button? And in other words, if I go to the store, can I whip out my Bitcoin Visa? Not yet, right? Maybe I'm not, maybe I don't know, but the whole idea of having an OK Pay or a web money card or a near card. Now, I used to have a hot forex account before they kicked me out, and I was able to, I signed up for their debit card, so if I could do a withdrawal or a deposit, it would be right off that card. So I could manage my money. The whole point of trading is money. That is the stock and trade. They're not sending you cookies to eat. You're trading pips for dollars, or you're trading, this guy that emailed me is trading ES minis probably. And so, yeah. So some guy, and of course, you know, it comes back to the discipline thing. Can you go without, there was a movie when I was a kid, my sister was watching, and I don't know if I was a chatty person then. When I was a kid, I didn't say anything, and then all of a sudden I wouldn't shut the fuck up. So there was a movie where this guy wouldn't shut the fuck up in Britain, and his brother bet him, like, I bet you can't shut the fuck up for a year. And I can't remember if he lost his voice because his vocal cords fused together or something, or he decided, you know, I'm just not going to say anything because it's better than I thought, just shutting the fuck up. But I guess you're compelled to comment, and if other people are commenting and offering some mentorship, but there's no mentorship. Sadly, there's no guru like Van Morrison. No teacher, no guru. There is no guru. The guru is you. And of course, like I said, you can, just like a person could lose 10 pounds and look really good and be strong, and if they're not they don't see themselves that way, like Nathaniel Brandon said, self-concept is destiny. So he's using Ayn Rand's, you know, he was banging Ayn Rand, so he had a logical approach to that. And so logic is a little unromantic, so, you know, so to speak. But so if you use the logic so you can live your life, because physics is logical, so you're stuck with the fact that you can't be awake for 24 hours even though it's a 24-hour market. So why not accept reality? And why not press a mechanical button? Why not come up with a stupid trade plan and go, God, this is so stupid. I feel so dumb. Because if you're intelligent, the smarter you are, the harder it is going to be to make money. If you've got an IQ over 100, you'll probably get wiped out in these markets. Because you're going to... Your belief system's going to overrule you. I mean, you're going to think that you have a sense for the breadth of the market because you've watched it all week long. You're like, oh, yeah, I think I see what's going on here. Although, if you're not prepared for the cost of doing business, which is the drama of getting your money in the account, the drama of getting money out of the account, the drama of watching it, the drama of your platform crashing, your internet going down, you having to drive across town to log into a different account because something tragically happened. And it's real stuff. I mean, your car could blow up. You could have a recalled car. You maybe have a backup car. Like I said, Starbucks doesn't have a backup grinder. They redecorate their places for $100 grand and they don't buy 2 grinders. It'd be really cool if they had 2 grinders and one was set for fine grind and one was... I mean, this is a suggestion I would make to the Starbucks people that are tuned in that own Starbucks. Get 2 grinders. One's set for fine, one's set for coarse. One's espresso. We don't have to fumble. You put a big label that says espresso with a smiley fucking face. Guy last night in the band had sticks that had hand signed in the back. There's a smiley face on his latest hickory sticks. Some new thing. Hand signed Vic Firth sticks. It's the latest thing. Very personal. Well, so the market's impersonal. Forex doesn't know you exist. You can't manipulate the market. So why do people say the market's being manipulated? Because they love that psychology. They love to say, well, if I can't manipulate it, then it's manipulating me. It's fucking me over. And that, SEAL Team 6 guy is right in some regards. And he says, what's the market doing to me? Well, you're the one that chose to put the trade on. The market's not doing anything to you. The mental toughness is not to participate in... In other words, you could say mental toughness is to hold a position underwater and stubbornly ride the swing out till you're in profits. Or mental toughness is not to participate in anything unless it meets your rigorous standards of mechanical entry based on a doji. So there's... Just because you're saying, I'm going to be tough, it doesn't mean you have to be tough in the sense of defiant to what's going on. And making it okay to go against your trade plan. As soon as you, like they would say, that's what women claim is have the prerogative to change their mind. So you're going to be a loosey-goosey. You're going to be some chick that can't make... Oh, I don't know. Buy, sell, buy. Well, you know what? If you're able to buy, sell, then you're considered to be a range trader. And if 80% of the market's ranging, which obviously even on this chart it is, like here, 80%... Like, how often does this thing make a big, pronounced move? Okay, here's one. Fuck. Go for big lines again. So if you're going to do this empowered trading shit, swing low, swing high. Okay, those are all fucking price pulses. But before that price pulse, this big smash down, look at all this bullshit. So you mean to tell me that you were able to capture that one particular price pulse? You're kidding, right? You're saying that you only traded here and you did not trade any other trade. You got in here, you got out here, done. You didn't trade the rest of the fucking month. Don't forget, this is April 7th back here. And this is like... You did this trade and this trade. Shorted Bitcoin. And you were able not to do any other trading for 2 months. Right. Maybe you're that guy. That right there should explain why trading's a bitch. You only took these trades. You got in here. There was a doji there. Right, here's your signal. Sell stop, filled on the daily. Hold, 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 hold. You got out here right at the reversal. Right? You got in here on this doji. Boom. You got out. Then you bought. Then you got out. And then this is actually not the wick. This is my trend line. Not likely, you know. Anyways, I don't know what to say. Look at the anyways, this is my template. I'm just gonna use that template. ADX. Here's Swiss franc. Look at this move on the 1 hour dollar. Could anybody have traded this? Put your orders in the Williams, fade the fractal, right? Buy here. Don't fade the Williams fractal on the 1 hour. Oh, all day long, right? How many trades on the weekly fractal did you get burned on? Well, if you sold this, you got crushed, right? So it matters. Time frame matters. If you sold this breakout, well, that didn't I back tested it, but blew it up on a weekly. Yeah, duh. Yeah, that Williams stuff don't work so good. I put a buy stop here. It got filled. They fucking stopped me out here. Fucking didn't make no money. And I only would have made this, and I'd be making money now. Yeah, the dollar's going up against the Swiss. And I don't know if we can find the depegging on here. It's way back here, I guess. I don't even know if this is the right data. I don't trust any data. Is this it? 70 cents. See, now you look at the depegging, you're like, yeah, no big deal. Maybe this is it. It's distant memory. Nobody cares because you can't trade the left side of the chart. So, are we breaking out and going up? Hell yeah. And what do you think the dollar could come all the way back to here against the Swiss franc? Don't forget, if they keep raising interest rates here, the fundamental stuff is pretty funny. Look at this weekly with Williams fractals. That Williams fractal shit trapping the shit out of my account. Dude, we're getting filled on this shit and getting raped. Yeah, you know, when I first saw that, and I did ask him in person, are you kidding? That's like the worst fuck. He admitted, yeah, in one video he goes, yeah, that's a bad place to get in. But not on the 1 hour, not on the 30-minute, right? Well, forget what I said. On the 5-minute, here you finally fill. Look at the vacuum. So maybe this helps you see the vacuum. Look at the 5-minute. So this is my view of the vacuum. Is here, right? Whoosh. Here, first fill, second, full fill. We fill to here. Once again, the same pattern over and over again. This is the ultimate longest standing vacuum. This is the longest standing vacuum. Right? This one's filled. Mission accomplished. When one fills, another one's forming. That is the vacuum theory. Right? Market's done the water. Here comes the news. Bam! Holy shit, the Fed raised in. Don't really hate this shit. If you had a buy stop here like a goober fuck, you got fucking long and made money. This is why you can claim anything. Well, I can't believe you're making fun of that guy there. I mean, I just support and resist. The fucking assault from Gooberville was incredible, dude. I'm calling out all the trades on that shit. Just going, yeah, can't anybody see that? Yeah, if you had a trade plan for this, life would be so... It's easy for you. Hindsight's 2020. No, dude. Something had to give. Did you really think we were going to go sideways forever? And look at this double bottom trap. Unfair value. I call this the one ball inverted dick trade. Okay. Sorry. I guess I had to go there. But seriously? And who's not buying on limits here for a dead cat bounce? No offense to cats. And cashing out here into the floor. Are we long? Is that a pullback in the dollar? Is that a zigzag pullback? Sure is. Oh, anyway, move this shit back. You know, these people, I need to fucking send these guys a video about their bad video tool. So, here's your top become a bottom. Right. Breaks out. Painful trend trade. Oh, making money. Oh, what the trap. Ooh, stop hunt into here. Bam. Oh, another, and it's almost like pinball wizard shit, right? Comes back, hit it with a flipper. Boom. Yeah, the flipper, this is the void, right? It's pinball shit. You could have put a buy stop on that fractal. In fact, those fractals stack up like little Chinaman hats. You could have gone long here and long here like an idiot. With slippage, whatever. But look at, you start cashing out here. Cash out, cash out, cash out, cash out. You're getting into a reversal. You have to have all this shit going on. Yeah, of course you're selling something up here. You got to get rid of your inventory. You'd have to liquidate. If you trade in massive single Ks, if you spread your risk, you're going to unfold this position as it bursts up into another bank that comes back for something, or goes flat up here. But once, you know, when you see this on, no, don't forget this is a 5-minute chart, so you can see how painful this trade is. Even if you bought here on this massive stop hunt into this previous top, you're like, okay, dude, like you're killing me. Right, I'm in maximum zoom out in MetaTrader. I'm on the bar chart. I'm on the candle. The candle turns into bar when you compress it. Now you're out. I would assume that if you're a 4-hour trader, you're just getting long now, and you're holding this over the weekend, and the dollar's going up. Don't forget, they raised interest rates. Here's where the fundamentals are going to come in and claim, see, I told you. What'd I tell you? Going up. And the Williams guys are going to go long on this fractal here without giving a fuck, just like they did here, and they're right. But if they ran a trailing stop with the same theory, they're stopped out. So we can all see that, I hope. No need to backtest that one either. I mean, honestly, the first time I saw a trading book and they described entries, I'm like, well, that's going to fuck. That's bullshit. And when all these guys are bragging about the ICT disciples, yeah, he's teaching stuff nobody else is teaching. Yeah, okay, we've all seen this dumb fuck entry, money management, right? We've all seen it, right? So here's another clever suggestion you'll get from friends and family. Well, if your car's breaking down, why don't you just buy a new car? Okay, that costs money too. Like, you fucking retarded. So the same thing could be said here. Well, how come I'm not taking range trades here then? How come I'm looking for this big move? Right? So that might be a problem, right? And why aren't I putting my buy stops on the bar by bar theory? And I have buy stops here. And I have buy stops on these new highs. You know, like a doofus. And I just got long. And I never got filled short because I had sell stops here, even on the fractals of Williams. Well, I could say the same thing about this. There's a 4-hour body. Did you get in on this trade and get whipsawed? Maybe you got trapped. Maybe you had targets that were up here. Maybe you got in here with a stop so deep that nobody could touch it because, or maybe you got in without a stop on some single ticket on an account and go, I'll do a 10K on this $500 account with a $500 stop. The whole account's a stop. Could you put that? I've done these trades a million times. Could you do that trade? Yeah. Could you do one that's slightly smaller? Yeah. Slightly bigger? Yeah. Once you see that it's not that one single trade, it's the size of that trade, how flexible, how high resolution, forget high frequency trading, think high resolution trading, think granularity, think having 500 employees, 10 of them die. Do you see a difference in your income? No. If they fell in the smelting mixer, okay, dude, you can afford that shit. I mean, you can afford getting sued. If you're big enough, look at Volkswagen still being sued in Europe. You know what? Fuck it. I love Volkswagen. I love that they fucking cheated. I love that. I love that they go, fuck you and your goddamn fucking numbers were kind of, oh, I got so much mileage. Fuck you. People like our cars. Fuck you. I would buy Volkswagens all day long. I probably have to buy the SUV one now because you know, it's like can't see in traffic, dude. I'm in a low car. I can't even see the light change color. I'm blind. I'm driving blind. Well, I would, you know, once you get used to looking at prices instead of charts, you probably wouldn't have a fear of. This is another thing. ICT is taught by George Angel or George Angle. Now I have his videotape on beta. Guy's on the beach trading the bond market from a cell phone, the old brick phone, satellite phone, and he is or he's on something. Maybe it's a wireless to his yacht house. And he did pivots, floor pivots, and he wrote the numbers, and he's literally getting in on pivots with a stop. Or maybe no stop. Is he making money? Yeah, by just 60% being right. Sure, why not? If he knows when the getting's good, if he knows when it's time to take the money and run. But if there's another devil on your shoulder saying, let your profits run, you're fucked. You have to have a get the fuck out trade. Or what that one guy called, and the pyramid guys said, you have to have your sure winning trade. Of course. You need to have your go-to, I know this works. I know I can get one date with this girl. After that, I know it's tragic. But one date, right? So you have one window of trying to present yourself in a nice light. And of course, if they tee the market up for you and it matches your criteria of moving average and Gartley and Fibonacci, and oh, they teed it up for me, I can see the window, I've seen this pattern before, and you trade it. Would you ever get greedy and think that, oh, I love that setup, let's just trade that setup all day long, and then you're looking for the 8-minute chart because it's got the setup. You see it on the 8-minute chart, but you have the trigger ready to pull. Do you have everything on your side ready to go for that trade? Not probably if you have a 1K button that you could pull the trigger and build a position in 1Ks at the market, you still wouldn't want to trade at the market. You're not going to be awake 24 hours. There's so much to consider. That's why people say, do you have a track record? This is the dumbest fucking comment in the world. Can you show this works? Dude, everything works if you fucking work it. It's like saying, can you prove that showing up to work makes money? Yeah, you got to show up. Trading is an unstructured environment, unless you choose to structure it. So people have said to me, well, I'll just get up at 8 in the morning. Sure, do it. But you still got to have a trade plan for all market conditions, just like it's weather. If it's sunny, do you have if you can only make money by trading, then you have to know how to make money on a rainy day. Do you have a rainy day plan? And you could call it that. I suppose that's like a range trade, I think. What is a sunny day? The market's screaming in your fucking direction. Now, you could set up any type of... That's the idea of turtle soup. It's a way of telling people, don't trade that. You don't have a plan for that. Unless you've got side dishes for the turtle soup, do not trade that, right? Are you making more money by avoiding turtle soup? Yeah. I mean, in Mark Douglas terms, you it's money in the bank. Now, if you show up at a gay bar and you're straight, the guys in the band, I offended him last night by cracking too many gay jokes. But I just think it's funny as shit because it's fascinating topic, you know, because guys aren't able to make babies. And meanwhile, they're together, right? So this is also brings in the fire and brimstone issues. It's just too funny. So I just like to try to break icebreaker last night. It got backfired. Everybody else was like, dude, you are just... you know, I was talking about all sorts of... I don't know, I guess my mind wanders. But... And so I do think that's funny because the market is a surprise. People are surprised. People are unsurprised. Then we're stuck with the magnitude of the move. Wow. I was really right. I should have scaled out a half of that and actually been in twice as big next time. Can I make arrangements for 10 girls showing up to rape me when I thought I'd only be on a date with one? No. Most people are not prepared for that. I'd say... So I like the sexual metaphors for trading, and I like the... because that really makes the point. And, of course, if you're waiting at the coffee shop and like, oh, my God, are they ever going to make it? Like, so if you're waiting for a move in the market, you're like, really? Really? Like, finally? And I'm sure for anybody that was on the daily... They were like, they got in here on this doji, and they're like, really? 3 days? And then they stopped me out. Like, I had a trailing stop here. So this is my internal thought here. You mean I could have just put a buy limit here where everybody had their stops? I could have waited 2 days for that? Like, it's like shipping. Overnight is like $80. I need that right now at the market. Why? Now, if you have one in at the market, I get it. Buy a 1K at the market here and just realize that you could have got out here on this stop hunt and you could have scalped the daily chart. You could have gone short here on the wicks, on the Williams breakout, and maybe it blew through that. I don't know what happened during that. But here you could have shorted because obviously it closed down. We know the end of this story. It closed down, right? So if the vacuum and this, so you're fading the fractal on the daily. Here you're fading the fractal. So you're buying this. You hold through the wick. You at least made this money at the end of the day. We do know that. Here, if you bought even more into this, you bought this new low here, you definitely made money at the end of the next day and then some here. And if you shorted, so if you did a, right, so where's the vacuum here? There's a 3-day vacuum. So how long is your vacuum? So here's one that fills. This one no fill. And will this one ever fill? We'll just put a new template in. So I don't have my delete all objects. So what about this one? Is this a key price? This doji brought forward, this small body, we know there's a triangle in the small body or a flag, or flags don't work, man. Okay, so at the top of that body is a price that we touch again. We never touched this one though. These two spinning tops are just highly dramatic. And this one happening in the stop hunt of this wick. Trailing buy limits on lows. Here's your only fill. Now to make this really profound, another way to really find a vacuum is to put on a trend line period of one moving average. This is Calgon, ancient Chinese secret. One period moving average of lows only. And we do the same for highs. I put 100 in. You can see how stupid that fucking thing is. 100. 144. Okay, 1. So here's our vacuums on lows. This will just punch you in the face vacuum. Then we'll do the same thing on the highs. We're going to add an indicator. We're going to insert. It's very sexual. We're going to insert. Have a girl explain this trading system. And one period moving average envelope really is what it is. Now we're going to go for highs. Now we can see us making new highs. This is a great way to do the higher high, higher low game. But we're not looking at this. What those guys talk about is this shit. Imagine you just traded bar by bar. Okay, this is a double bottom. But, so I said this to my tequila buddy, which his nickname is Beer Mug, because he got hit in the head twice by staring at another guy at the bar, and some guy just took a beer mug to his head. It's a terrible thing to say, but it's true. So look at the dojis inside this marching up stuff. Now, if all your robot did would be, and this is, I think, when it's a heartbreaker, how dumb trading is. If you thought the market was going up, so you ran a trailing buy stop on highs, they just filled you, right? And so follow the bouncing ball. Trailing sell stops, they fill you. You better get out here with money, because if you have a trailing buy stop in reverse, you're not going to make any money. Buy stops on new highs. Sell stops on new lows. First fill, you're getting whipsawed. If you didn't take profits here and get your order flow, in other words, orders flowing through this river of bracketed, this is the river, and here is the huge vacuum. Okay, here's baby vacuum, monster vacuum. And when these things fill, get the fuck out of the way. There's only 2 entries, 3 pullbacks. In RSI, you would see oversold. Don't worry about whether this is a positive or negative reversal. It's going to occur to you, all the indicators telling you is the trade you would take. Now, I could put the RSI in here, and I guarantee you that this would be a if this is X, down is X, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 period reversal, another 7 period reversal. Now these are the best trades is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 period reversal, which means down, up, 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 down, down, count the candles. This is more oversold at a higher price than this, I guarantee you, because I don't need to look at RSI anymore. Once you know how it responds, you can see it. Down hard, you buy. If it's down hard in an uptrend, you buy at the market at the end of the day. The buy stop bots and the goobers, the confirmation guys are getting in here. Nothing wrong with that. But if you buy every day it's down, you're getting a better price. You bought this, you bought this, you bought this, you bought that. You're long, long, long 4K. Here comes your goober entries. You're adding to the position. You need to trade every method the broker's giving you. If the broker's letting you trade the market, okay, I get that. But they're letting you trade on stops and limits, don't forget. With time decays, they're letting you. MT4 scripts can be written to last 12 hours. Would you place a 12-hour buy stop here? You may not get filled, but you can tighten it up on the next day. And you're this is the ultimate envelope. Is bracketing the price you see. When you zoom out, it becomes very apparent. The bigger vacuum. And this is the biggest line I could pick unless I force it and write my own indicator. But you can do this. Everything I've done here is without any fancy downloads. All I did is I wrote a 1 period moving average. It gives you a different perspective on stop entry, on new highs, on daily. So as you zoom out, now it occurs to you just how rangy this market can be. So this is depegging 2 years ago. Look at that move. Did anybody buy new lows down here? Not likely. This happened too fast for you to even... It was too late for you to put your orders in. If you didn't plan for this, there's no way. It about 1 hour to get that... 2 hours to get that trade on. Maybe 8 hours, I don't know. So you have to be realizing that this is the 5-minute chart, 30-minute chart. Yeah, you're buying this. Because this vacuum goes back further, it's more certain than... this fill made money. If you could survive in a SEAL Team 6 manner, I have to redo the template. I guess I fucked up that chart. I was on candlesticks and I didn't save the template. So yeah, shit. I gotta fucking put that back in. I just put the highs back in. I'll put the lows back in, but look at just the highs only. So think about what a buy stop, what a money management bot is doing. The upper vacuum. So maybe it's too much to think about the lows. And maybe, and this is another thing to consider, that if you run just the lows, that's the bid. I mean, the bid would be the lowest price. So, I'm sorry, this is the bid, but this is the lows of the bid. And like I said, that's not like that's not the ask line on top. You know, like I said, the broker's not letting you see that. We have to turn that on. The default is you can't see it. Oh, you can't see it here because we're so zoomed out on the daily. But the spread's not bad here. It's 2 pips or something. You should be able to make money with a 2 pip spread on the news, you know. So there's a vacuum on the upper register. And maybe that's overwhelming right there. You could take the fractals off. So maybe we'll do that. We'll take out the fractals and we'll put in just the lows now. So fractals is too much information for me personally. And we're going to insert the lows again. So all you're going to do is go to insert indicators, trend, and moving average, and now we're going to pick lows only. So you have to, this will form real time. The other problem here is that as this is forming, you're watching this break out, right? Here you can see that the candle is being chopped off the body, so the candles really aren't great for, and people do trend lines on highs and lows, so they would understand this really easy. But I do think that the way you chart it determines the way you're going to trade it. Those looks like piano keys to me at this level. You know, the daily chart is it's like, looks like butter to trade, right? You're like, dude, look at this pullback. It's making lower highs. Yeah, as soon as that thing turns, and you could go this mode. If we take out the direction and we just go pure volatility and mechanical breakout at the same time, we go to the bar chart. Now this is an eye-opener. If you've never looked at the market in this sense of what a robot would see from just raw data, new highs, new lows, you know, looks a lot easier to trade like this, right? Oh, look, I got a double bottom in highs. This is a whole new way of seeing tops and bottoms. One person's going to say, I see a triple bottom, trend line retouch, I'm getting in here. Another person's going to see, oh, I see a triple bottom in highs. You're going to buy the crotch of that on a breakout. You're getting stopped in. In other words, let's see if I can. So the guy that buys on confirmation, this is his third touch. He buys here, or he has a limit pending here. Unfortunately, my tool pack is at a distance, and I have to go over. It's the worst software I've ever seen. I just want to make my ball smaller. I can't. It's tortured. So, right, the guy that on the 1 hour chart says, look, I've got my, and he sees the stop hunt. It comes back and makes new lows. And he's buying that pullback. Also, he had it here. He took the risk. He stepped out in front. He said, I'm going to buy everything below here, all the way to this glorious, if we ever see that, I'm definitely buying down here like a whore. And we never see that. All we get is this. A trap, an unfair value, bottoms become tops, and we overshoot into this. So you can see all the vacuums here. Double valley. Top becomes a bottom on the high line. So top becomes a bottom on the high line. Structurally, the stop entry guy gets in here. The stop hunt guy gets in here. We can also see a swing low established. We know that exists. We know we want to buy that. We know we could get clobbered, but we make money. We know we could get clobbered on this entry, and if we have a stop here, we're not getting clobbered. If we have a stop here, we just got clobbered. So you can see low and what's happening now. No triggers from the I can't mark that off, but if you can see what I'm saying. No triggers from the volatility bot yet. He's long. He's long. He's short. He scalped out. This is the trap trade. This top became a bottom. So you have a broader window of entry if you do tops, bottoms here, because if you're going to have sell limits in this vacuum trap here, and you capture this move to here, and you buy back to here, and you play the trap game, sell, buy, like you see that fractal, that would be a Williams, that'd be a you know, a simpleton fractal. It's a simple zag. That's your entry. Liquidity fills, comes up, hits this tippy top. That's your mountaintop sell. So if you trade highs and lows, this is what your chart looks like. Sure, you have a buy limit here. Maybe no fill because the spread's too wide. But buy stops are stacking up. You're long on your mechanical system, and you're long on your limit structure entries. Boom. No fill on your sell limits. No fill on your sell limits. No fill. Fill, crushed. Fill, make money, but you still had this trade going. Buy the crush. Hopefully you scalp this dead cat bounce. Here you load the wagon. And you got your dead cat bouncers. You're always got something that's hoping to make this thing. But you realize you're going to get this shit. Fake breakouts. Gets all triangular. And you can also see all these triangles gloriously with the 1 period high and low moving average on a bar chart. In MetaTrader, out of the box. Like, so hopefully you can see this classic wedge. Triple top, triple bottom, comes out of Asia. First impulse, stop hunt trap into this undercut vacuum. Big winner to here. Sellers come in. Now we play tag team stop hunt swing trade liquidity. Boom, 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 boom. Let's go after everybody's stops. Let's fuck everybody's head. Final stop hunt up into here. Wow, glorious. Everybody's excited. We're going up. Fuck, no. The whole time everybody's been excited about this, we've been forming a vacuum here. Not to mention the one that goes to here. So this is a larger triangle within the smaller triangles established, which is just nothing but lack of volatility. Like this kind of bizarre triangle, but all triangles exist in nature all day long. So you think Fibonacci's out there. Look at the triangles. Look at a bikini. 3 triangles. I mean, you know, this stuff is not that hard to figure out. Mother Nature's capable of a triangle. Lack of volatility, right? And you know, eggs, you know, these birds have eggs, right? Well, there's nothing going on until they hatch. So there's a hatch point. And actually, this did pretty good, this trade here, like to here. But the people that said, oh, no, it's still going down, they're like, dude, look it. It's still going down. We could do this trade. We could do that trade. Are you really up for that? Now, this is another thing. Does this fit your schedule? I doubt this is a schedule. Problem number 85 in trading, 85 and a half trading is, are you prepared? Did you think about, could you see that entry? And look, they took it 1 pip lower than your entry. And you moved your stop to break even, and you were like, dude, I should have got out. Yeah, I so should have got out here. I was up like 10 grand right there. And did you wait? And finally, like, oh boy, look at they're coming into my trap. So if you're an envelope trader, tighten your envelope up. I ain't got time, like 9/11 girl. I ain't got time for this. So let's go to the big picture. The monthly, go to normal mode here. Data's catching up. I don't know, I crashed the platform there. Oh, that's my trend line. So I gotta delete that shit. Okay, here's the, anyway, the monthly, we're sitting at this, so we filled here, and this is the trap here. Oh, geez, here. Let's go to object list. Control A, delete. And so, if you zoom out, what's going on? This is crazy. And Bitcoin and all this stuff. Is the dollar really going to fill this vacuum? Is this going to really happen now? And look at this depegging in the landscape of everything. And hopefully this is proper data because my British pound was wrong. Are we going up into this? So it'd be very interesting. Crush through that. Otherwise, we got to start going after this. And this is the turning point now. We just got filled short on the monthly. So either you're going short on the monthly and you just got filled by default. And on the weekly, you're long. So there's contradiction there. You're long on the weekly and you're going after this. And so here you can see the true voids. So the best view of voids is new highs, new lows, or just one period moving average on highs, one period moving average on lows. I'm really liking this view. It's very explicit. Let's go look at the yen. Dollar yen with my magical new highs, new lows template built inside of MetaTrader. I really liked this when I first discovered this because the bull and bear power was, this is from Alexander Elder, the idea of this, and it combines the line chart, which is what RSI is famous for. And if I put the closing prices in there, that's going to screw you up because that's going to take you away from volatility and make you think about direction. If you zoom to this level, like if I could take out the hash marks and I could put a indicator just called bar in here. But we can imagine a candle in there. We can turn the candles on. But it scramble your brains if you don't have a trade plan for the dojis. So I like the bar chart because it's more volatility. And this first level of zoom out is pretty cool. And this gives you just a wonderful view. That's the dollar yen. It looks like the dollar could break out of this triangle. And of course, you know, there's nothing wrong with trend lines on highs. Like I said, if you're not timing the market, this is still the void. I say don't draw your trend lines and highs and lows, but here you're forced to. And you see the break. You should be short. Real easy to draw. Like if you couldn't get somebody to draw, what I want you to do is find a valley and draw a line. So that somebody would have drawn a line. Well, they would have drawn a line here, I guess is your... See how you're crushing into these lows? So you'd actually have to bring this up. Here's your trend line break. Doesn't fall apart. Trend line break. Does not fall apart. Trend line break. No fall apart. No fall apart. It becomes a rollover up here. You know. Here, this is wave 4. Supposedly consolidation. Here's your perfect top bottom in price on the monthly yen. A top becomes a triple bottom right on wicks. Internal story is different. There is no pullback to a structure on close. You never get back there. I'm trying to make the line chart. So the line chart is controlled here. I'm going to make it black. We can't make it any bigger, unfortunately, but we can see there's a double bottom in closing, but there's a double bottom and a triple bottom in price. This is a triangle, but it doesn't. You don't see this triangle in closing price. But this is also keeping you tuned to the vacuum. Zoom out one level and you're like, whoa, whole different story. Zoom out another level. Oh boy. What do we got here? And we don't have a lot of data here. The weekly is a fantastic view of this top becoming a triple bottom on the weekly. That's hardcore structure. Here you see a quadruple touch and a launching, but look how many false launches off of that low. Supposed to be getting short here. Not crazy about the trend line thing. So let's start over. Mechanical traders are long and up right now. They're winning. So without all that analysis, because that's a little bit too Gartley-esque as to do all that shit, I'd say what matters right now is we have totally been filling up. This is the first trap from the mechanical robot's entry. He goes long here and he gets whipsawed here. But the guy buying new lows with all the balls of a guerrilla tactics, guerrilla warfare, getting in here. And here comes the vacuum fill, and it's just fill, all the way into what? That's right. Obvious bottom. Overshoots it. Can it make it into the crotch, though? Where everything, the party got started right here. It looks like we're headed up to... Okay, I'll be there in a minute. That's my crack dealer. So... right here, I can't paint past that, but right, are we going up to here to fill this? Would you sell here for a pullback to that? Yes. Oh, geez. Please hold. Dude, I'm just going to suggest you get out of your car before I punch you. You know, just because you have a horn on your car, this is the idea of carrying a loaded weapon. You shouldn't need to use that. You should be able to talk yourself out of a crime. Okay, let's clear this stuff. You know, these markets are going to just keep churning. Let's take a look at the British pound. I'm not surprised that people are really perplexed about the market behavior. I'm not surprised. Gotta get some data going here. So look at this British pound. We filled this hole on the weekly, caved back in. So once we satisfied this hole here, so I'm just speaking in hole to hole factor. Like this got filled, came back, fill and return. And then once we go into this new hole, so we knew this existed, and we have one up here still to fill. If you go to this tippy top, take that forward. Who got in on this fractal? Who went short on that simple pullback? Who got stopped out of their longs, and maybe they would be right in the long run if they held it? Who are these people? Right?